All right. Well, hello, everybody. I want to say good evening to everybody, but I know in Malaysia right now it's morning. It's evening here in La Crosse, Wisconsin. So thank you for coming to my presentation. My name is Heather Pearson, and I'm the International Admissions Counselor at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. Um, I have been a big fan of Malaysia for a long time. I've actually been visiting your country since I believe 2003. And so I've been coming there for almost 20 years. And so even though I've lived in the Midwestern United States for my whole life, I consider myself kind of an honorary Malaysian. I definitely love your country and visiting your schools and most of all eating your food. And so I'm excited to share some things about UW-La Crosse with my fellow Malaysians. All right, so first of all, I want to start out by telling you where University of Wisconsin-La Crosse is located. So you're probably familiar with the United States, and you often think about the coasts, right? You think about the West Coast where California is located and the East Coast where New York is located. And so usually when I first introduce the university, students will say, how close are you to LA or New York City or Seattle? And the answer to that is truly, we're not close. We are in the middle part of the United States. And so as you look at the map there, you'll see kind of towards the top, you'll see Minnesota in yellow and then Wisconsin in green. So we are in the state of Wisconsin, and you'll see a red star there. That is where the city of La Crosse is located. So we're considered located in a Midwestern state and a Midwestern city. We're right on the border with Minnesota. So right between us and Minnesota is the mighty Mississippi River, which runs from north to south of the United States. While we are not close to New York City or LA, we are actually not far from bigger cities like Minneapolis, Madison, Chicago, Milwaukee. Those are all a really short drive away, anywhere from a 2-hour drive to a 4-hour drive away. And you might think, well, I don't have a car. How would I get there? There is the Amtrak train system, there is a regional airport, and there are buses that go in between those different cities. So transportation is actually pretty easy. The city of La Crosse, Wisconsin has about 52,000 people in it. And that, in terms of the state of Wisconsin, makes us a mid-sized city. So our largest cities are Madison and Milwaukee, but after that, most of the cities get to be a lot smaller. So being about 52,000 people makes us kind of considered to be a mid-sized city in Wisconsin. What I would say is nice about it is it's big enough that there's going to be things to do, both in terms of recreationally when you want to do something fun, but also school and work-wise when you want to do a volunteer experience or do an internship or something that helps you in your field of study. It's big enough that it allows for that, but small enough that it's going to be easy to know your way around. You can walk to a lot of places. Everything is probably within 5 to 10 minutes of the university, so it's really easy to get places. There's no rush hour traffic, and there's that real sense of friendly community in the sense that after a while, you're going to find your favorite place to go for coffee, and they're going to start to recognize you and know your order. You're going to find your favorite restaurants, your favorite movie theater, your favorite place to hang out with your friends, your favorite place to go hiking. And so it's really going to feel like that kind of community for you. La Crosse, Wisconsin is in an area called the Coulee region, and that's an area that's known for its natural scenic beauty. So I mentioned that we're located right alongside the Mississippi River, and you can actually see that picture on the left side of your screen right now. One of the things that we will do when you come to UW-La Crosse for orientation is we'll take you on a riverboat cruise. So you'll be on a boat just like the one there on the picture, riding down the Mississippi and seeing the landscape. We also have a lot of hiking and biking trails and a unique area called Grandad Bluff, which is the picture on the right. So you drive up kind of a really steep hill, and when you get to the top, you walk out onto that point there. And when you look down, you're looking down over the bluff and you can see the whole city of La Crosse. You can point out the university, the neighborhoods, the downtown area. You see the Mississippi River off in the distance, and then you see Minnesota beyond that. So it is just truly a beautiful, magical view. One of the nice things about studying in the state of Wisconsin is you get to experience all 4 seasons. And I usually, when I'm presenting face-to-face with Malaysian students, will say, how many seasons do you have in Malaysia? And people giggle a little bit, and their answer is either 1 or 2. Either just 1, it's always hot, or there's regular, and then there's the rainy season. But really, Malaysia is always warm. It's always got a tropical climate. And I personally love that, but I think there's something magical about experiencing the different seasons. And in Wisconsin, you experience all 4 seasons. So in early October right now, it is the fall or the autumn season. This is my favorite season because the temperature is mild. So, temperatures are not hot and humid. They're really comfortable outside. There's no humidity in the air, and it feels really crisp. So all of our trees are preparing for winter. Their leaves are changing into yellow, red, and orange hues, and they're falling. It's really preparing for winter. So right now, not in the COVID year, but in most years, we would be doing apple picking and hay rides and carving pumpkins and getting ready for trick or treating and all these great things kind of associated with the fall season. Very soon it's going to start to snow, and that's going to turn into our winter season. So winter is cold, average temperature of around -15, but often a little bit warmer than that. I would say winter is often between about like 0 and -15, but snow. And so our students spend a lot of their time inside, but you also ice skate and snowshoe and ski and sled and do all those fun winter activities. That then turns into spring, and so everything comes alive. The snow melts, the grass starts growing, the trees get buds, the flowers start blooming, and then that transitions into summer when it can be as hot and humid as it is in Malaysia. So one of the benefits of being in a city like La Crosse is experiencing those seasons. I think all of these things, the beauty of the city, the different types of industries, everything that I've just talked about is what makes us one of the top college towns in the US. So within the city of La Crosse is the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. And as you can probably tell, we are named for the city that we are located in. So in the state of Wisconsin, there are 13 universities that have the name University of Wisconsin, and most of them are followed then by the location. So University of Wisconsin-Madison, University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. So we are in that same system of universities, University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. At UW-La Crosse, we have a total enrollment of just over 10,000 students. So something I always ask students to consider as you're thinking about universities is what size of a campus would feel comfortable for you? So do you really want a small campus? There are some universities that have a couple thousand students. It's going to feel really small, really personal. Do you like the idea of a big campus? Some universities will have 30 to 40,000 students. So big, vibrant campus atmosphere, but also a lot of students. So maybe some bigger classes. With 10,000 students and an average class size of 29 at UW-La Crosse, you get a little bit of both. It's small enough that you get to know your professors. They get to know you by name. So you're not just a student in their class, you're a student that's known and can be called on and can participate. That is the nice part of a smaller campus, just that personal part. But with 10,000 students, there's also a sense of largeness, of a lot of student organizations, opportunities, a lot of diversity. We have students represented from 42 different states of the 50 United States and 43 countries all around the world. So you get some smaller campus aspects and some bigger campus aspects. One of the things I like to point out is that we have just under 10,000 undergraduate students. So that's what you're going to be. And that means that the typical student at UW-La Crosse is a student like you. Similar age, pursuing their bachelor's degree, similar interests in terms of what they're looking for academically and socially. And so you really enter a community of students like you. We do also have some graduate students, and so there are opportunities in certain academic programs for you to continue your studies at UW-La Crosse after earning your bachelor's degree. We typically have around 100 international students at UW-La Crosse. This fall, that number is a little bit smaller simply because of COVID. Students were not able to get visas to come over and begin their studies. And some of our current students decided to sit out for one semester just to see how things perhaps change going forward with COVID. But in most semesters, we have 100 students or more who are considered international students. So I know one of the ways that you look at universities is through the lens of rankings. And that is one of the ways where you can figure out what a school's strengths are. I always caution students, don't base the majority of your decision on rankings because, to be honest, there are dozens of ranking organizations. And most of us have at least one really good ranking. So you're always going to find a good ranking at a university, but you can look at the types of rankings to get a sense for where that university is strong. So at UW-La Crosse, these are a few that I wanted to highlight. Kiplinger's has ranked us the #4 best college value under $30,000. And I think that's important because university education in the US is expensive, and we've really made a commitment to make it affordable to you while still offering a quality education. You can see that quality education highlighted in US News and World Report's ranking that we are the #6 public regional university in the Midwestern United States. We have ranked in the top 10 for many, many years, and every year we fluctuate around that top 5, give or take a number, so academically very strong. We're recognized as a university that focuses on research opportunities for undergraduates, so opportunities for you to partner with your professors and to do hands-on research while pursuing your degree. We've also been noted for our diversity and our commitment to a diverse campus. And you will see that in our international students, in our American multicultural students, in our commitment to social justice and equality. So you'll really see that diversity played out on campus. And then lastly, a good ranking for part-time jobs. I like to point this out because as an international student, unfortunately, you can't work off campus. So while your American friends might have a job at a local restaurant or in the shopping mall or something like that, you aren't able to apply for those jobs because of the requirements of your student visa. However, you can work up to 20 hours per week on campus. The minimum wage in the United States is $7.25 per hour, so roughly 30 ringgit per hour. And you're given a paycheck on a regular basis that you could use to help pay your tuition fees, but you could also use it for entertainment, recreation, to take a spring break trip, to buy a winter jacket. So being ranked highly for part-time jobs means that there are a lot of jobs available for our students. In terms of academic programs, UW-La Crosse has over 100 majors available. You might not see 100 majors on the screen right now, but you're going to see a lot of variety in the types of programs. So a real focus on business, arts, social sciences and humanities, communications, science areas, education, and opportunities to do dual degrees, either dual undergraduate degrees or dual degrees, bachelor's degrees going into graduate master's degrees. Now, the reason that I say we have 100 plus academic programs is because for many of the majors you see listed there, there are areas of emphasis within them. So for example, if you were to choose a major in biology, there are focuses in cellular biology, in biomedical, in environmental biology, and several other ones. So for many of these majors, there's an ability to specialize while you're pursuing your degree. Students often ask me, can I live in the dormitories? Am I required to live in the dormitories? And those are two very simple questions, very easy to answer. So first of all, the university has 10 dormitories on campus. And second of all, there's always room for international students. Our housing office has agreed that the best experience for an international student is to spend their first year in a dormitory, because you may have never been to the US or to Wisconsin or to La Crosse. So this is going to be a new experience for you. You may not know yet how you would provide transportation to get to campus or where you would buy groceries, things like that. So by living in a dormitory your first year, you're on campus. You walk to your classes. You have, in many cases, a meal plan where the food is provided for you. In your room, you automatically have cable TV. You have wireless internet connections. You have all of those things that in a separate off-campus residence, you might have to pay for separately. So if you choose not to live on campus, we do allow students who are transferring from another institution, so INTI transfers, to live off campus from the beginning. What we try to do then is to help you connect with perhaps another international student, maybe even another Malaysian student, to find out what the best housing options are. Most of our incoming international students, though, will live in either Eagle Hall or Reuter Hall. So Eagle Hall is a suite style dormitory. And what that means is you don't have a kitchen in your immediate room. So you probably still have a meal plan, but you have a shared bathroom that's just shared between your room and an adjoining room. So you can see in this visual here, there's 2 rooms. Each room has 3 roommates. So there's 6 people total. And in between the 2 of them is a shared bathroom. So it gives you a little bit more freedom, a little bit more space, but you still get to take advantage of the dining hall for your meals, so you're not kind of required to cook for yourself. Eagle Hall is our newest dormitory, and so it is by far the beautiful one and the one where a lot of activity takes place. These are some pictures of Eagle Hall, so you can see kind of the general layout of the dormitory and then some samples of what the room looks like, and then the bigger shared kitchen. The other option that a lot of our international students choose is Reuter Hall. So Reuter Hall is an apartment style dormitory. So as you can see by the visual in the middle, A, B, C, and D are each private bedrooms. So you have your own bedroom, so a lot of privacy there, and then shared apartment facilities. So you and your 3 roommates would have a living room, a kitchen, and a bathroom. So that gives you a little bit more freedom to cook your meals if you don't want to be on a meal plan, to have a little bit more privacy. and to have an apartment style experience without having to move off campus. So these are some pictures of Reuter House. You can again see a typical apartment setup. With any of the dormitories, you are able to purchase a meal plan. And the most common one is our Eagle meal plan, and that's what I've got highlighted here. So you have a lot of different options: breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and access dining. Basically, we have a cafeteria. You can go there anytime that you want, get as much food as you want. They just swipe your card and you're good to go. You also then have a certain amount of meals that you can use throughout the week at the restaurants on campus and the food court on campus. You also have some guest meals. So say, for example, you come to University of Wisconsin-La Crosse, but your friend goes to University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, and you guys decide to meet up in La Crosse. If your friend stays with you, you can take them to our dining facilities, swipe your card, and buy them their meal as well. So you are totally an awesome host. We have a lot of good options. So if you are a vegetarian, if you require halal, if you have other gluten-free or other requirements, our dining services really works to make sure that you have the kind of food that you need available to you. We have a Starbucks on campus, and I always point that out. I personally love the local coffee shops, and so I will often go across the street to Global Grounds or just down the road to Mocha to get my coffee. But when you need coffee in a hurry, you run into Starbucks and they've got just some favorites that you know from back home. We also have something called a campus food pantry, and this is separate from your meal plan. This is a facility on campus that regularly stocks different types of groceries, and students have certain times that they can come there and pick up groceries. It's meant to be a food supplement for individuals who may not have the money to go to a grocery store to buy their own groceries. And so right on campus, you're able to pick up some of your groceries free of charge. We really want to support you at UW-La Crosse, and that is seen through a lot of different offices. You know, you work with me a lot in the beginning, and many times international students will keep in touch with me because we build up so much trust over the time we're working together. So even though I work in the admissions office, I'm still a support to you, but there will also be other offices that will specifically address different needs you'll have at UW-La Crosse. International education and engagement are basically your people. It's the international advisors who make sure that you are staying compliant with your immigration documents. They're helping you line up your CPT and OPT, your opportunities to do internships off campus. They are providing cultural programming. They're answering your questions. They're planning fun cultural events and excursions. So they really are the people that make sure that as international students, you have a lot of opportunities. Your academic advisors will help you pick your subjects each semester and to help you figure out how those different subjects are going to help you get into graduate school or get into a good job after you graduate. So they're looking at how you build your degree with your different subjects. If any of you have a disability that's been documented, like a learning disability, a physical disability, we have a disability services that makes sure that you have accommodations in the classroom and outside of the classroom so that you can have equal opportunity to learn and be successful on campus. We have a first-year experience office that basically makes sure that during that transition year, when you're getting used to studying at UW-La Crosse and integrating into the United States, that there are some supports there to help you learn about the university and learn about American educational experiences. We have over 200 student organizations, and I always encourage students, this is your time to really find what makes you unique. Join an athletic team, join a music ensemble, join the debate team, join a faith-based organization. There's so many different types of student organizations. At UW-La Crosse, one of our more unique ones is a cheese lovers club. So Wisconsin is a dairy state, and one of the things we pride ourselves on is the production of different kinds of cheeses. And I know this isn't as common in Malaysia, so you may not have had a lot of different cheeses, and you might not be sure if you even like them, but if you join the cheese club, you get to experience and learn about different cheeses of Wisconsin. So that may be one of your less serious clubs, but it might also be one of your favorite ones. We have intramural and club sports, and those are the types of athletic teams you can join that you don't have to be a top athlete. You just want to be physically active and be on a club volleyball team or be on an intramural kickball team. Just a really great way to be athletically active with your fellow classmates. And then a big performing arts program. If you love theater and music, we really encourage you to get involved in music ensembles, choirs, bands, to try out for plays, to try out for the musical. That's something that you can really do, even if your major has nothing to do with it. Even if you're a business major or a chemistry major, you can be involved in the arts. And after you graduate, we want to make sure that you are set up well for success. So part of the reason you come to the United States is to have that true US university experience, which really involves liberal arts focus, a lot of experiences both inside the classroom and outside of the classroom, making friends from around the world. But when you graduate, you want to get a job or you want to get admitted into a graduate program. So through all of these different services that you see here, our Career Services Office, along with your professors, are going to give you what you need for that next step. I would say just a couple to highlight here. I love the etiquette dinner. That again is probably one of the things that you look at and you think, well, what is that? Why do we need that? But so many of the interviews that you will go on will involve eating either lunch or dinner with a search committee. Once you're hired, you may have to do professional dinners with clients. And so this really walks you through how to dress for one of them, how to navigate all the different silverware, how to both eat a meal so you're full afterwards, but still be able to make conversations. So they go through some of those important things. The other thing that I'll highlight is the different fairs that we have. So we have graduate fairs where you can get familiar with some of the top graduate programs in the country. We also have internship fairs where you polish off your resume, you practice your interviewing skills, and then you go into that fair and do interviews with potential employers for internships in our region. Usually there's over 100 different employers who come to that. This year, because of COVID, everything is virtual, but we haven't stopped doing those things. So the internship fairs are still taking place, they're just virtually and they're by cluster. So for example, if you're interested in business, you go to the business internship fair. If you're interested in health related fields, you go to that one. So we're still giving students that great experience of getting connected with employers. And as international students, we want to give you one more layer of ways to get connected. So at UW-La Crosse, we have the La Crosse Friends of International Students program. This is like a host friend program. So you get matched with a local family. It isn't a homestay, so you don't actually live with the family, you still live in a dormitory, but they invite you into their home. You become their honorary international son or daughter while you're at the university, and that means home cooked meals, spending holidays with them, doing fun activities, so really getting that family experience. You also have an opportunity for the Global Buddies program. So that's something you can sign up for that automatically connects you with an American student who's really interested in learning about people from different cultures and backgrounds from them. In addition to like that cultural sharing experience, it also means that as a UW-La Crosse student who doesn't yet necessarily know a lot of people, your American buddy is introducing you to their friends and showing you some of their favorite places to go. So it gives you that automatic friendship as you're starting to meet people. So these are two really great ways where you get connected. A lot of the things you do with your host family and with your global buddies happen spontaneously. You just connect with each other and make plans. But our international office will also schedule potlucks and different types of trips around the region. So maybe like a cross-country skiing trip or things like that. So we really try to make sure that you have those strong connections. All right. I also want to highlight a couple of our Malaysian students. So this is one of our current students, and you can see that he's had a really nice time here. He's participated in cultural events, he's made friends, and yeah, he really just talks about the independence that comes with studying abroad and trying new things, which is actually the advice I give students. When you come to the US, just be open to what you're going to experience. Know that it's going to make you a strong, independent person. And it's going to give you a chance to try some new things that you may not have been able to do before. And this is one of our students who just graduated this past May. So she came to UW-La Crosse for a really unique major. So she was interested in archaeological studies, and she knew that from the very beginning. So when she looked for American universities, more so than anything, she was looking at which universities have this major and which ones are the top ones. UW-La Crosse actually has the #2 archaeological studies program in the country. And so if that happens to be a program you're interested in, we are automatically then one that comes up on your radar. This student was really successful at UW-La Crosse. In addition to being a strong academic student, she was a student ambassador. So she helped recruit and talk to students who were looking at the university. She was involved in collaborative research. She's now pursuing her graduate studies in archaeological studies at another university. And so her experience here at UW-La Crosse really served her well. All right, I want to do a little bit of a transition now and talk about how you apply to UW-La Crosse. So first of all, we have two intakes. We have a January intake and a September intake. We are currently accepting applications for January 2021 and September 2021. And so if you are interested in either of those intakes, you are currently able to submit your application. We don't have deadlines, and that might seem strange to you to think, well, every university has a deadline for applications, but we know that there are a lot of different moving parts, right? So we look at how quickly you can complete your application, what the wait time is to get a visa, how likely it would be that you could still complete your arrangements to come to the US. So we would recommend that if you're looking at the January intake, that you apply by December 1st, and then after that, we'll look at it on a case-by-case basis. Or if you're applying for the September intake, that you apply by August 1st, just to give yourself some time in both of those situations to make your arrangements. So you will submit the University of Wisconsin's system-wide application. So you'll go to apply.wisconsin.edu and select UW-La Crosse as your campus. There is an application fee with that. It's a $25 application fee, and you can pay that with a credit card when you submit your application. Along with that, we need you to submit your secondary school transcripts. For many of you, that's going to be your SPM, but it might be other credentials, basically what you completed when you left secondary school to start school at INTI. We also obviously need a copy of your transcript from INTI, and then evidence of English proficiency. That's something that's required for your I-20 immigration document. So we have to document on there that you meet the academic criteria for admission, that you meet the English language criteria for admission, and that you have proof of funding. So we see a lot from your transcript that really shows us academic preparedness. For English proficiency, we're going to look for a TOEFL of a 73 or an IELTS of a 6.0, but you can also complete either ENL 101 or ENL 102 with a grade of C or better, and we can use that as the basis to show that English proficiency has been met. So that would mean you would not have to take the TOEFL or the IELTS examination. In addition to that, you'll show us proof of funding and a copy of your passport picture page. So we do what we call a holistic or a comprehensive review of applications. And what that means is we look at a variety of factors. So we look a little bit at your secondary school academic performance. We look a lot at your subjects and your grades from INTI. We also read your application statements. You're not required to submit a letter of recommendation, but if you submit that, we read that. So we really try to see who you are as a student and how you would fit at UW-La Crosse. Most of the students that we admit will have a CGPA of a 2.5 or higher. If your CGPA is lower than that, we might try to get a little bit more information about your academics and likelihood of success. Maybe we might talk to one of your teachers or one of your advisors just to learn a little bit more about you. So one of the really great things about coming from INTI to UW-La Crosse is all of your subjects transfer. That actually includes your MPU or MPW subjects, as well as the subjects in the American Degree Transfer Program. So we do have an equivalency table available, and that just lists all of the subjects offered at INTI and then how they transferred to UW-La Crosse. That's helpful just to know that they transfer. We do also on that guide, on the back side, list each of our general education categories. So what we require in communication, natural science, social science, humanities, cultural diversity, things like that. And we show you which INTI subjects fit into those categories. So this allows you to do some self-research to figure out how your subjects will be accepted at UW-La Crosse. However, you have really great advisors at INTI that can help you with your subjects, especially if you know you want to major in business or biology or psychology or statistics or something like that. They know the subjects that will be best to take. You can also reach out to me and just say, Miss Heather, I'm considering UW-La Crosse and I am planning on majoring in communications and I need to know what to select for the next year. And I can look through the list and say, you know, based on our requirements, we would recommend selecting from the following subjects. So we really want to make sure that you are maximizing your time at INTI. And then when you transfer to UWL, all of those subjects transfer with you. I talked when we were going through admission criteria about showing that you have funding. So at UW-La Crosse, we have to show funding for 1 year of study on your I-20. And that is each of these items, plus a little bit more that's just estimated personal expenses. So you can see tuition and fees are about $18,000 for the academic year. Your dormitory is about $4,600, and that's based upon living in Eagle House, so the suite style one that I showed you. The meal plan is based on the Eagle. So again, the meal plan that we looked at, about $2,595. And then your required health insurance is about $1,700 more. So early on, I showed you we were ranked as one of the top universities under $30,000. And you can see that the estimated total for 1 year of study is just over $27,000. For I-20 purposes, we'll have you show family funding or sponsorship funding of $29,495, just to build in some of those additional expenses that you might have for entertainment, clothing, school supplies, and things like that. So we know that tuition is affordable but expensive, and so we are really happy to be able to offer you an automatic scholarship. So at UW-La Crosse, we have the UWL Malaysia American Degree Transfer Program Scholarship. It's currently worth about $4,400 per year, and it is automatically awarded to you when you are admitted to UW-La Crosse. So it doesn't have a certain CGPA requirement. It doesn't have an application process. Just simply because you have enrolled at INTI and now you are coming to UWL, you are awarded that scholarship. You will continue to receive it every year for a total of 4 years. And the nice thing about it, the reason I say that it's approximately $4,400 is because it's based on a percentage of the tuition fees that we charge you. So if tuition were to suddenly go up a little bit, your scholarship would go up a little bit as well. So it's always going to be a certain percentage of the tuition fees that you pay to UWL. So this is the scholarship you are all guaranteed. If every single one of you loves UW-La Crosse and applies, you will all get it. But then once you are at UWL, you're going to be able to apply for some additional scholarships. So during your first semester at UWL, you can apply for a scholarship to receive your second semester called iEngage. This is offered through our international office, and it's based on 2 criteria. One is a CGPA of at least 3.0. The other is demonstrated participation in activities on campus and in the community, so really being an active student. If you do that, you can receive a scholarship of up to $2,000 per semester or $4,000 per year. So that would be stacked on top of that initial scholarship that you received. In addition to that, we have something called foundation scholarships. So if you were to go to the website on your screen right now, you would be able to search based on different keywords. So you might type in international student or the academic program you're interested in. So you might type in finance or maybe something you're interested in like athletics. And based on those different kind of keywords, it would let you know if we had any scholarships available. These scholarships vary in terms of how much money they're worth and what the criteria are, but it's not uncommon for our international students to receive at least one foundation scholarship while they're at UW-La Crosse. So that would mean that you could have the incoming scholarship, possibly iEngage, possibly a foundation scholarship, and then maybe working a part-time job on top of that. That can really help you make your university education even more affordable. One of the things that helps make university affordable is that there's a lot of free stuff. So things that you might otherwise have to pay for, you don't have to as a UW-La Crosse student. So for example, we have a state-of-the-art fitness center. UW-La Crosse is known for its exercise and sports science academic programs. And as a result, we draw a lot of students into our university who are very interested in leading healthy and fit lives. So as you pay your tuition fees, that is also your membership to the recreation center. So you have access to cardio equipment, free weights, a swimming pool, a running track, classes, all of those types of things. You also have free access to movies on campus. So we have a big movie theater, and every weekend from Thursday through Sunday, we show different types of movies, and those are free for you. We throw in some popcorn as well. You have free admission to the athletic events. So cheer on the football team, the baseball team, the volleyball team. You get to really experience that idea of just being a UW-La Crosse Eagle and showing your proud school spirit. We have great city buses that pick you up on campus and take you downtown and all throughout the city. And again, those are free to you as a student with your ID card. We have something called TV Anywhere, which is an app that you can download to your smartphone or to your tablet. And it gives you access to different television stations while you're on campus through our Wi-Fi. So those are just a few examples of the free things that you enjoy at UW-La Crosse. I think the best thing about being a university student is free stuff is always available. I know every time we host an event, we think, how can we convince students to come to this? We know it's going to be fun, but how do we get them there? And we say, let's order pizza, or let's give away this other thing. So we really know that free stuff is a great draw for university students. All right, So I hope that that got you kind of excited about UW-La Crosse and that you're interested in learning more, whether you're looking for a university for this upcoming January or September, or whether you just started at INTI and you're maybe several semesters away from making your final decision. I hope that this gives you a good starting point, and hopefully for some of you, you got that feeling of like butterflies in your stomach of this really feels like the kind of school I'm looking for. If you didn't, that's okay because there are so many great universities you can look for. But if you did kind of get those butterflies, what I encourage you to do is to explore UW-La Crosse further. So one way to do that is to reach out to me. You've got my email address here and my WhatsApp number. Both of those are appropriate. You can email me or WhatsApp me anytime. Keep in mind, we have about a 13-hour time difference. So if you WhatsApp me in the middle of the day for you, it's going to be the middle of the night for me. So you might not get a response back right away. But as soon as I wake up and see your message, I will definitely reply to you. You might want a student perspective. You might think, Heather really loves UW-La Crosse, but do the students love UW-La Crosse? And so we have a program called UniBuddy, which is basically international students who are at UW-La Crosse who are sharing their experiences. They do that through blogs and videos and photographs, and also through one-on-one chats that you can have with them. So I put the link up there, but if you go to UW-La Crosse and just go to our international admissions site, a little chat box will automatically pop up. And you can see one of our students here. We have 2 students who are UniBuddies who are from Malaysia. So you could reach out to them and just say, hey, I see you came from Penang. I'm in Penang, or I'm in KL. Tell me a little bit about what it was like to come to UW-La Crosse. What do you like? What don't you like? What do you do for fun? How's the food? And they can answer those questions for you. We have other international students from all around the world, so you might be more interested. Maybe it doesn't matter that they're from Malaysia, but it matters that they're pursuing a similar academic program to what you're going to pursue. So there's a lot of great ways to connect with students, and I really, really encourage you to do that. And then lastly, I know I'm starting to hear that not as many students are on Facebook as there were in the past, so maybe you're not on Facebook, but if you are, like the UW-La Crosse International Admissions page, because we post a lot of just really fun stuff there. Some of it is information about a cool ranking or a cool story about a professor. Some of it is just us having fun with our mascot or sharing kind of fun facts about the city. But it's a great way just informally to learn about UW-La Crosse. The other way you can do it is we've got all of those other social media channels. So you can also follow us on Instagram. You can follow our YouTube channel. You can follow our TikTok, all of those different things. So a lot of really great ways to connect with UW-La Crosse. And here is a snap code. So if you take a picture of our snap code, it's going to take you to an information form that you can fill out, and that's just your chance to really say, I know I'm interested, so here's some of my information. You can list the academic program that you're interested in, you can ask a question, and then those come to me so I can reach out to you and help you out with that. So with that being said, I stopped the screen share there, and I think that we have let everybody into the room here. I'm just going to make sure there's nobody that I have waiting out there. Okay, good. Yep, looks like we have been good about letting everybody in. I am also going to open up the chat room, and that way, so in the chat room, hopefully you guys can see it. I have my email address and my WhatsApp number there. So feel free, if you don't want to ask a question where you have to actually unmute yourself and talk, you can type a question in there. Just make sure that you're either typing it directly to me or that you're typing it to everyone so we can see it. There is a message there. Can you share the total cost of attendance again? So total cost of attendance currently is $27,495, and that breaks down to about $18,400 for your tuition fees. So studying your subjects for the 2 semesters. Your dormitory is about $4,600, your meal plan about $2,500, and your health insurance about $1,700. So total is about $27,400. However, keep in mind, you are all going to receive the UWL INTI automatic scholarship of $4,400, so that will be reduced from that. So that would make it about $23,000. And I'm going to mention to you that I'm not alone here. Listening to the whole presentation has been Grace. So one of the benefits about working from home during this time of COVID is you get to work with your pets, right? So Grace absolutely loves it when I'm on camera. She can be clear on the other side of the house, and as soon as she hears me booting up the camera and the computer and getting ready to do something, she runs over here. and wants to just be a part of it. So Grace is also here, excited for you to explore UW-La Crosse. So, all right. I know it's hard to ask questions, but like I said, you can definitely type them in. Let's see here. Okay, so we have one. Are there any COVID test facilities offered? Who wants students to get tested? That's a great question. Yes. So this is true actually with, I think, most, if not all, universities in the US, but definitely at UW-La Crosse. We have on-site testing because one of the things we know about university students is you guys are really social, right? You're living in a dormitory, but then you also get together with your friends and maybe you leave campus and go downtown. And even, you know, if you're wearing your face mask and even if you're trying to physically distance, there's still that risk that there might be some spread of COVID. And so all of the students in our dormitories are tested, and we have it available to other students as well who are commuting in. And so, yeah, we have COVID testing available on campus. The city of La Crosse also has testing where there's not long lines at all and there's pretty quick results. So we are really doing our best to help students understand, you know, sometimes it may not be that you have symptoms, but you're around somebody who tests positive or who starts to have symptoms. So we are really, I would say, as a state of Wisconsin, as a University of Wisconsin system, and as UW-La Crosse, really trying to keep you all safe. We know that you want to have a really good university experience, but we also are trying to do that in a way that feels really safe for you. I noticed it in a lot of ways, like normally there would be a ton of student seating in our student union where the food court is located, and there's a lot less tables and chairs. They're really separated quite a bit. A lot of students are picking up their meals in takeaway containers, and so they're going to go outside while the weather's nice and eat outside or take it back to their dormitory. Normally you can visit your friends in all the different dormitories. Right now during COVID, we're not letting students bring students from other dormitories into their dormitory. So really trying to limit like your home space to just people in your dormitory. So definitely noticing things like that. Face masks are required anytime you're on campus. So definitely inside buildings and the classrooms. They're strongly, strongly encouraged outside as well. So I know it's a goofy time. Who would have thought, right, that as college and university students, you'd be wearing face masks and sitting apart from your friends and taking COVID tests and all of those things. But I will say the students have really risen up to the challenge. And so they've been doing a good job of distancing and doing virtual learning for the classes that are hybrid. And I am cautiously optimistic that things will improve a bit in the spring for the January term. And I really think that September 2021 is where we're going to see a big change, when I think there'll be a lot more in-person classes, less online classes, and just more ability to do some of those things that you enjoy doing outside of the classroom. So that was a great question. What else, guys? Is there electrical engineering at UW-La Crosse? That is a great question. I wish that I could say yes. I cannot say yes. So we are not one of the universities in the state that has a large engineering program. In fact, our only engineering is computer engineering. But for students looking at electrical engineering, if you are looking for a large university campus, like one of those more like 20, 30, 40,000 students, I would recommend University of Wisconsin-Madison or University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. If you would like a little bit of a smaller university, so similar in size to UW-La Crosse, I would recommend University of Wisconsin-Platteville. That is a university similar in size to us, but one of the top engineering programs in the state, and definitely have electrical engineering and a really, really strong program there. Those are all really great questions. Thanks, everybody. Oh, good question. How do the student clubs carry on their activities during this time? So what they've been doing, they've been encouraged to do virtual meetings whenever possible. And so on the one hand, if your student organization is something like a Bible study or something like that, where, you know, you're mostly just together kind of doing things in community, but you can do them virtually, those work out really well. If you are a sports club, it's a little bit harder to do that virtually, right? And so what we've been doing is, whenever possible, encouraging students to hold their club meetings virtually. We have also encouraged students, if you do want to meet in person, meet outside on campus and try to limit attendance to a smaller group of people. Be sure you're wearing face masks and physically distancing, but that allows you to be together. We are also allowing students to sign up for times to use the recreation center. So for students who are just saying, you know, I just really want to go and lift some weights, or I just really want to run on a treadmill, like I just need some sort of activity. They're allowing students to sign up for those times so they can limit the number of people in the facility, but also still giving students access to it. And they're kind of seeing how it goes. So one of the nice things is, I'm sure this is the case in Malaysia as well, but we as a city, as a county, as a state, and as a university are heavily tracking the kind of ebbs and flows of COVID. And so as cases go down, we're able to give a little bit more freedom. As cases go up, we pull back a little bit. But you know what I would say is for most of the clubs, they're at least having that social connection. Probably the ones that are harder are the ones that involve physical activity like sports clubs or, you know, some of the music ensembles where they are actually able to gather in small ensembles, but it might be by instrument or by a smaller number of instruments rather than the whole band being together. So I would say everybody's doing the best they can with that, but I know athletes are so anxious to get out and compete, and people are just really anxious to get together and be around each other. So yeah, and I would say that for us as well. I got to do something really fun a week ago. So one of the things that students have been doing a lot of, since they can't necessarily go out as much, is they've been ordering a lot of packages on Amazon. And their parents have been sending them care packages in the mail. And so our mailroom got totally overwhelmed with literally hundreds of boxes unexpectedly showing up. And they didn't anticipate this. I don't think they thought that when students began the semester that they would just start, you know, comfort ordering clothes and, I don't know, room decorations and things like that. So the mail office, the mail room on campus asked for volunteers. So a week ago, I did a 3-hour shift sorting students' mail and arranging their boxes alphabetically. And then for a 2-hour period of time, students could come in and they had to stand 6 feet apart, but they stood behind plexiglass and they showed me their ID so I could see their name. And then I would go over to their letter of the alphabet and grab the boxes and go through their mail and find any letters from mom or grandma. And it was so much fun to just see them light up as I was like, okay, here's your Amazon box and here's a postcard from someone else, maybe a boyfriend, girlfriend, I don't know. So, you know, students are still enjoying university life and getting packages and ordering things that make them happy. It just looks a little different during COVID. What else, guys? What else can I tell you about?
Heather, for admission, for application, right?
Yeah.
So they will go through the general Wisconsin application website. So could they upload all documents there, or do they have to send physical hard copies to you?
So the application, so there's a redesigned application for University of Wisconsin right now. So if you want to, it does actually allow you to attach things, which in the past it didn't. It just said send your things separately. So you can attach your academic records and your passport copy and your financial documents if you want to. What I would recommend, so we will accept emailed copies. What I recommend is send them to me separately. So once we get your application, I will send you an email and just say, yay, you applied, I'm so excited. Here's what you need to submit. And you can reply and just attach all of those documents. And then if I have any questions about anything, the good thing is I know people at each of your campuses, so I can reach out to Ms. Terry or Mr. Brian or Ms. Shree or other people and just say, you know, hey, I just want to confirm that this is an accurate record for the student, and they'll write back right away and say, absolutely, they're a rock star. That's exactly what they did. So yeah, so with the application, you can submit the application electronically and then either upload documents then or send the soft copies to me. Let's see, one more question. Is there any Wi-Fi services in the housing option? Yes, so all of campus is Wi-Fi. So you are connected anywhere you are on campus. You join UW-La Crosse and generally it's a pretty good connection. We've been testing it lately as students have been doing more online classes than they typically would, so it's been using a lot of the bandwidth, but yeah, you automatically have internet when you're on campus, in the dormitories, in any of the academic buildings, when you're out in the courtyard, pretty much all throughout campus. It was actually when, so I think much like you guys, last March when all of this started, we sent our students home because we shut the campus down. But some students were having trouble accessing good Wi-Fi, and so we actually put some extra kind of like hotspots in our parking lots. And so if students had no other option, they could drive to the parking lot and just set up their laptop, and they had good internet there, so they could be in their car so safe and do their classwork there. I think they're probably hoping they don't have to do that again, because I don't know that being a student in your car is the dream, but it was a great way to make sure students were connected during a challenging time. All right. Well, here's the deal. If you want, so if you scan that SNAP code, that's one way I can get information about you. I also give you my contact information, so feel free to WhatsApp me or email me. Or if you want, you can type your contact information in the chat, either to everybody, or if you don't want to send it to everybody, just send it to me. Do the drop down and select me. And what I will do, I promise, I'm not going to spam you with stuff. You know, you'll get a few emails from me and from UW-La Crosse that will just give you more information. But I would love to keep in touch with you. I would say for all of us in international education, we are super sad this semester because normally we would be in Malaysia. Facebook reminds me every day that I would be in Malaysia right now, and it makes me sad because while it's nice to be here with my cat, I would much rather be in Malaysia meeting you guys face to face. So I would absolutely be happy to chat with you over WhatsApp or email, or we could set up a one-on-one Zoom meeting. So I am happy to help you guys with your university search however I can.